And we are live. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today we're going to be doing a little pregame live stream about an hour ahead of tonight's game against Edmonton. We'll be chatting about the game, anything NHL related, hopefully specifically Rangers and what we're going to see this upcoming game. But as the chat begins to fill in with fans, be sure to leave your comments and your questions down in the comments. I'll be sure to discuss them, just so you make sure all of your voices are heard. But while we wait, if you're new here, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a notification. We're really starting to heat things up on social media on both Twitter and Instagram at Fireside Rangers. So be sure to give a follow on those two as we give you daily updates and discussion posts about the Rangers. What's up, BV? Welcome back. I'm glad to see all of these familiar faces. Wayne's back again. What's up, guys? It's Wayne getting ready for the game. Let's go Rangers. Of course, let's go Rangers. Dylan says, I'm an amazing person. Thank you for making this account, man. Of course, it's always been a dream of mine to be able to talk about the Rangers with a lot of people. I do it in my free time anyway. So you know what? Why not have an audience and a whole community of people that we can discuss things with? But yeah, it's 8:01. The Rangers are playing in an hour. I don't know if we'll go the full hour up until game time. I'm feeling a little under the weather. And I am by myself today. It's easier when I got all my co-hosts. BV does say, still no jersey tonight. We got to break the curse. I was planning on wearing a jersey tonight. It's just the fact that I am feeling a little sick and I'm sweating up a storm. And I think I might have a heat stroke if I wear a jersey right now. So I'm just wearing the regular t-shirt. But hopefully by next game, I think is on Saturday, we'll be back. I might got to bring out the Kako jersey for good luck because that jersey is undefeated so far this season. But yeah, guys, welcome to the chat. Any questions you guys have, anything you want me to discuss, leave it in the comments, and I'll be sure to pull it up on screen. BV says, what are we thinking about tonight? I'm very optimistic. The Rangers are on that 2-game win streak, back-to-back wins over Seattle and then over Calgary. So, the Oilers, they're like 1-4-1, I think their record is. So just based on records alone, the Rangers are the favorites to win the game. The Oilers are playing without McDavid. So, McDavid is injured. We obviously all wish him a quick and speedy recovery. He's like the greatest player in the world. So, you don't want to take something as bad as an injury and use it to your advantage. But you can't deny the fact that the Oilers are without McDavid definitely benefits the Rangers a little bit here. Wayne says, I know I've been sick the last couple of days, kind of feel a little bit better just today. I'm glad you're feeling better, Wayne. It's that time of year where the weather's getting colder. We're all getting sick over here. Sometimes it's not Jersey feeling. Roger says, I'm sick of the Pacific Northwest road trip starting times of these games. It is a little unfortunate. The Rangers should they should be in the first intermission right now, but we are out west. I'm happy that we're getting this road trip over with as early in the season as we are, because these 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock start nights, it's a little frustrating, but we're always going to watch the Rangers no matter what. Wayne, hope you feel better, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. Roger does say the main key here, but hockey is back. At the end of the day, Rangers hockey is Rangers hockey. If the game started at 2 a.m., I'd still just take a little power nap and just wake up to watch it and discuss with you boys and girls. I'm sure there's some girls here in the chat. BV said, no McDavid. I don't even know. That's huge, but I still got to watch out for Draisaitl. Yes, that is a big factor. McDavid, he is a lethal weapon that Edmonton will be missing tonight, as he's out for 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury. I believe it was a hip injury, but I'm not too entirely sure. But yeah, Edmonton does still have some offensive firepower there. Draisaitl's very good. Nugent Hopkins very good. Both of them coming off of 100+ point seasons. But I don't know. McDavid is the big one right there. Hopefully the Rangers will be able to shut down their offense, and Igor will hopefully play great. I believe Igor is the starter. If anyone can fact check me on that, that'd be very nice. Yeah. Roger does say agreed with getting it over now. And yeah, the Rangers starting off the season with a lot of road games. Not too many home games in the first 18 games of the season. I think they only have 5 home games. But then after that, we got a huge home stretch. So the fact that the Rangers are playing well as early as they are with all of these road games, it's a great sign, because if we're playing amazing right now, heading into a huge home stretch in the second month of the season, it'll really set the Rangers up for something special. We can maybe hopefully take a little bit of a gain on that Metro lead. Carolina, surprisingly, not playing very well this season. I think they're 3-4. Again, I don't have the exact standings pulled up, but I know New Jersey's right behind us. They took a big loss last night against Washington. So the Rangers are currently first in the Metro, and hopefully we can extend that lead by 2 more points. Roderick says, the Stanley Cup run of 94, I watched every second of those games. It helped. I was in 8th grade, and it was at the end of the school year. Unfortunately, I was not alive for that cup run, but I do remember all those years growing up when I was a kid in the early 2000s, mid to 2010s, when the Rangers would go on these deep runs, especially in 2014 when we made it to the finals against LA. I think I was in 6th grade, and in LA, those games would start at 10 o'clock, and it would be a school night, and I'd have to convince my mom to let me stay up to watch them. But it was worth it, even though we lost. It was a great watch. Tommy says, I think Igor is starting. That'd be huge. Jonathan Quick hasn't disappointed in his one start that he's had so far. But I don't know. Either way, Igor starting is always a good sign. Igor is still unconfirmed, but Skinner is confirmed. Skinner's a decent goalie. Anyone who's playing in the NHL is obviously very skilled. I would probably never be able to score on any of them, but the Igor thing, yeah, that's kind of Laviolette's thing, where he waits until the very, very last second to announce who the goalie is, kind of just leave the opposing team just as confused as us, so they don't really have a game plan heading into it. BV says probably Igor. I would have to assume, though. We've had a couple of days off. Michael says, I'm in Arizona. Normal start time is 4 p.m. for me. I have to sneak out of work early. That's fair. That's one of those unfortunate start times for all of the West Coast fans, where they're still at work when the games are starting. For us here in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, 7 o'clock starts are nice. You get off from work, you get to come home, eat dinner, sit down, relax, and then the game starts. And it doesn't end too late, Roderick says, it's a great night when we can hear the great Sam Rosen sing his classic, It's a Power Play Goal. Yes, Sam Rosen. I love Sam Rosen. He makes me mad sometimes. It's one of my more controversial takes, because as great as it is when I hear it's a power play goal or the captain, but then at the same time we get hit with the like Chris Kreider scores. Oh wait, never mind. It was Mika Zibanejad and it didn't go in, and he always makes those mistakes. It's a little funny to me, but it does kind of infuriate me. So that's my problem with Sam Rosen. It's a very hot take. I still think he's great, though. Roderick says, the more quick and play, the more Igor can keep his tank charge for the spring. Yes, that's always been one of the big plot lines heading into this season, where we needed a backup who's ready to let Igor rest as much as he needs. I think at this point in the season, where we're at the very beginning, Igor should be played as much as possible. But when we start to reach that halfway mark and we're getting later into the season, that's when we're really going to need Quick to step up, let Igor kind of recharge, get his energy back, because assuming the Rangers make the postseason, and I say assuming because we have a very good chance, but nothing's ever confirmed until we clinch, we're going to need Igor. We've seen that problem a lot in the last couple of years. We saw it with Lundqvist all the way through his entire tenure, where we rely on him, our goalies, too much. And then by the time the postseason comes around, they're drained. We're not scoring goals, and it ultimately leads to our elimination from the playoffs. So I agree. Yes, the more Quick and play, the better. Unless you're Strome, you can't score. I don't even want to. BV, the fact that you're referencing Strome makes me think that you're a long-term fan, because I used to dog on Strome so hard back when he was on the team. I hated him so much. BV says Sam Rosen got to retire getting that age. I don't know if we're at that point yet. I think Sam Rosen is still very, very good at what he does. He's a classic announcer with the Rangers, and he makes a lot of really great classic calls that I will never forget growing up with. And yeah, he makes his mistakes that I'm going to criticize him for, but until it becomes a very consistent problem, then I still like Sam Rosen. Wayne says Mika will break out tonight. I don't even know if it's a breakout that Mika needs because he is putting up a lot of points. I think he is playing at a point per game or like 1 point behind it, but they're just all assists. He hasn't scored a goal yet. He did, but then it got taken back. So hopefully we'll see him score a goal tonight. He's playing very well on that first line. Kreider's the one scoring the goals on that line, and Mika's just putting up the assists. So just a goal would be nice for him. It's kind of like the same thing as Philip Hedl. He's playing at a point per game, but he just hasn't found the back of the net yet. So just as soon as they start scoring goals, those points totals are just going to skyrocket. And I'm very, 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 very ready for that. If the Rangers were playing, I never did my homework when I was a kid. Same. I still don't. I just graduated college last year with Anthony. And anytime the Rangers were on and we had like a big test the next day, we didn't study. It was all Rangers and recording for you guys. Still on the Sam Rosen subject. His time is growing short. Let's enjoy it as long as we can. It was a sad day when the great Bob Shepard left us in 2010. Still having Jeter using his recordings. I'm not a big baseball guy. I'm assuming, was he a baseball guy? I don't know. I didn't really start following the Rangers too much until like the 2011 season. So anything before then, it's like I'm familiar with, but I'm not super, super well versed. But yeah, no, Sam Rosen, he's great. I don't want to hate on him. I'm ready to move on from this conversation before I get canceled by the fans for saying anything bad about him. He's great. I love him, but he is getting older. R-Man says, how do you think Wheeler has looked? I am very critical on Wheeler. I think he's looked atrocious. I'm at he has 0 points. He doesn't contribute offensively. He doesn't contribute defensively. But at the same point, we're only 6 games deep. Hopefully he can turn things around very quickly. But at the same time, BV says, Eric's going to dog on him as usual. He knows. I do dog on him. I am doing a solo today, but my other co-host, Collin, Will, they're all more on the supportive side of Wheeler with the whole give him time. And I do agree with that. But at the same time, I always need someone to hate on. And at this point in time, it is Wheeler. Wheeler breakout tonight. I hope so. I sit here and I say all these things about Wheeler, about how bad he's played, about how he's not impressed me. But I don't want to have that conversation. If he could shut me up tonight and score a goal, make some great plays, maybe make some great defensive plays as well, that would make me happier than the world. I hope that later tonight you guys can come back to this comment section and be like, Eric, we told you so. And that would make me very happy because the success of the team makes me happy. And I don't want to have to dog on Wheeler any more than I already have. Roger, clearing up the confusion from before for me. Shepard was a stadium announcer for the Yankees from the 50s to 07. That's a long time. That's a very impressive stat line. I grew up in a Yankees household. My mom was a Yankees fan. My dad was a Mets fan, but he's not a super fan as much as my mom is for the Yankees. So I've always been a Yankee supporter. I've never gotten too much into baseball, but if the Yankees ever win, you'll see me be like, go team. But I can't really claim any fandom in baseball. BV says Wheeler Hattie tonight. That'd be crazy. I would be very, very pleased. Dylan says Wheeler is so slow. That is one of my main criticisms of him. That's why he got benched in that second game against Columbus, the Rangers' first loss of the season. His skating has just been atrocious. And he looks like his age is catching up to him. I know last season he was still able to put up 55 points with Winnipeg. But with the Rangers, he's not on pace for any points because he doesn't have any in 6 games. So I don't know. I'm hoping he turns things around. This is kind of funny. I think paint dries faster than him. That is pretty funny. Roger says, curious, where's everyone from? Capital region of New York State. For myself, that's pretty cool. I'm from Long Island, born and raised over there. So it's strange that I'm not an Islanders fan being from the island, but I still stand surrounded by Islanders fans, and I stand strong with the New York Rangers fandom. I'm currently down in Florida, moved down for school, and just graduated recently, and now I'm still down here. So it makes it a little hard to watch games, but we find our ways. Roger says, later tonight I'll be in bed, early day at work tomorrow. I feel you. I'm going to have to get up super early tomorrow to start writing articles about the Rangers, a takeaways article from tonight's game. Be sure to check us out on empiresportsmedia.com. We provide daily written content about the Rangers that sometimes gets translated into visual discussions like this. I write sometimes, Will writes, Collin writes, Anthony writes. So we put up some good content over there. Sorry for the plug. Just had to put that in there real quick. Roderick says, speaking of super fans, did you ever look up those classic SNL sketches? Yeah, I know. I think it might have been you, Roderick. Someone brought it up the other day in the live stream, and I said I was going to look it up, but I haven't found the time yet. If you want to DM me a link or something on Instagram, I can definitely check it out during intermission or something tonight. Robert says, Massapequa Park represent. I do have family friends that live in Massapequa. I've been there a couple times. Very, very nice town. Roger says his mother's from Nassau. Shout out Suffolk gang. Roger, congrats on graduating. Thank you. Me and Tony just recently, Anthony, so we call him Anthony on the channel. I call him Tony on a personal level. But yeah, we just recently graduated together. This is pretty cool, Dylan. Your dad works at MSG as a security guard there. That is very, very cool to work at Madison Square Garden. I'm very, very jealous of that, having some sort of connection to MSG. Wayne, this is pretty cool. You met Sam Rosen. He's a cool dude. I actually haven't met that many people, like players of the Rangers. I met, who did I meet? Adam Graves, legendary Ranger. I met him in the city. I went to Rangerstown one time when I was a little kid. Very nice guy. He's very cool. But other than that, I haven't really met any Rangers or anyone super like important to the Rangers. Roger says, what did you guys get your degrees in? I like how we're just not even discussing the Rangers at this point. We're just talking about me in college. I did digital arts, so kind of just like this whole film production stuff like that. I think Anthony did business or something along the lines of that. Robert here says, so when does Kane come back? And I think it's a big if Kane comes back. Kane himself claims that he's fully healthy, ready to go, ready to hit the ice after his hip surgery. But he says he's waiting till November to make a decision on where he's going to go. He kind of he's in a win now mentality where even though he's won 3 Stanley Cups already, he wants to go for that 4th, kind of just wrap up his career with a final win. I know the big teams that he's looking at were Detroit, Buffalo, and the Rangers. They were claimed as teams to watch by Frank Siravalli, which out of the 3 teams, Detroit and Buffalo have looked decent, but I think the Rangers do have the biggest potential. I think it's just a matter of a cap situation. So I don't know if he's going to come back to the Rangers, but if he does, expect it or any signing regarding Kane sometime next month, in the month of November, once the standings really become kind of clear of who's going to be good, who's not going to be good, stuff like that. Dylan says, congrats for graduating. Proud of you. Thanks again. Armin, what did you like the Fury Day? I thought the red zone on ESPY was great. I don't know what you mean by Fury Day. Like the Frozen Frenzy when they had all 32 games. I'm assuming that's what you mean. I wasn't able to watch it because I was just watching the Rangers game. When the Rangers play, I am watching for my enjoyment as a fan, but I also do work during it. Got to post game updates and highlights and everything on our socials. So be sure to check those out through the game. Every time we score, I'll have those goals posted there immediately if you guys want an instant recap or any big play, really. So I wasn't really focusing on any other games when the Rangers are on, but I've heard it was very good, kind of having like the red zone-esque NHL thing. I just think the NHL is really terrible at marketing, because why would they do that the same day that NBA has its opening night on like a random, like what was it, like a Monday or a Tuesday? The NHL should have done that like this Friday, with no other big sporting event going on. It's a Friday. Everyone's off work. They can stay up late for the later games. But, that's just my opinion on the NHL's marketing. I'm sure you guys might agree. PV said, I talked to Mika in the city and his dad. That's actually very cool. I almost had the chance to meet Panarin once. The day that he signed with the Rangers in 2019, I was in New York City, just a couple blocks away from Madison Square Garden. And the Rangers posted a picture of him standing outside holding up a Rangers jersey. And I sprinted there, but I didn't make it in time. That would have been so cool. Dylan says, I had the Captain Callahan jersey that I wore at the Stadium Series back in 2014. I also currently still own my Ryan Callahan Captain's jersey. I bought it like a week before he was traded, which was quite unfortunate. But I still hold on to it because, a Rangers jersey is a Rangers jersey. It's a piece of our history. Michael says, Power Play 2 has been looking good. I agree. I think they've looked good all season. I know they just scored their first goal last game. I believe it was Lafreniere who scored it. But even though they only just started producing goals, it's looked solid. Obviously, the Power Play 1 is playing phenomenally. The Rangers going into this game against Edmonton have, I believe, the 6th or 9th, I can't remember which one, best power play in the league at 30% exactly. Very, very good things we've seen from the power play so far. It's just the penalty kill that's kind of mediocre. That's ranked 15th in the league so far. So it's not the best, not the worst. I think that's exactly 80%. So that could be improved as well. But hopefully we'll see special teams really kick in tonight. The Oilers, even without McDavid, they do have a lot of offensive firepower. So when they're on the power play, our penalty kills really going to need to step up their game. And, you're going to want to make the most of our power plays just to get the early jump on Edmonton, because if you fall behind quickly, they will take that lead and run with it. Even without McDavid, they have Draisaitl, they have Nugent Hopkins, and they can and they will score. As good as Igor is, I think there might be a couple goals against tonight. Let's see what's going on here. Roderick says he got Kevin Lowe's autograph when he was a kid. That's kind of cool. Logan says, whoa, I'm late. Well, it doesn't matter, man. We're still in the stream. We got a little bit of time left. Anyone who's just joining us now, be sure to leave your questions in the chat, and I'll go around and get around to answering them. Michael says, no money or room for Kane. That's the other thing, we don't have the money. Someone would have to be moved, probably Gaudreau, because Gaudreau has looked absolutely abysmal this season, and we're paying him $3.6 million a year to just skate in circles. That's a problem that needs to be changed immediately. And there's also just the fact that there's no room. Last season we needed Kane. We had an open vacancy on that right wing in the top 6 that we filled with Kane and Tarasenko. Both of them left, and then we've now filled it with Kakko and Lafreniere, and both of them have looked very, very solid. The only right wing who's looked bad this season is Blake Wheeler. Sorry to bring it back, BV. I know if you're still here, you're going to say something about me bringing him up again. But you don't put a guy like Patrick Kane in the bottom 6, especially with Will Cooley and Vincent Trocheck. That's not a point-producing line. That's like a gritty, grinding third line that's going to play solid defense. So unless Lafreniere or Kakko gets moved back down to the third line, you don't have the roster space for Patrick Kane. So that's just my take on it. I think those are the 2 big reasons why I wouldn't go after him if I were Chris Drury. But Chris Drury is a genius sometimes, and Laviolette hasn't made a bad decision yet. So we'll see what they decide to do. Francesca says, back to Wheeler. We can't avoid the Wheeler conversation when I'm here. During interview, he smiled and said, it'll come. Hopefully tonight is that night. I agree. Kind of like I said earlier, as much as I hate on Wheeler, all I want to do is see him succeed. So if he comes out tonight and starts scoring goals, make some good defensive plays on that third line, I'd be more than happy. I hope tonight's the night. Yeah, Wayne also agrees. I hope Blake Wheeler does something tonight. Logan asks, Eric, how many points is Brett getting tonight? I hope a lot. You guys will know Panarin is my favorite player. I say it all the time because of just how much I love him. But I think Panarin, this is the season he finally hits 100 points. He's come very close a few times. His best season was 96. I think last season he had 92. But we're seeing an entirely new Panarin this season. He shaved his head. He looks more confident. He's playing defense, and he's playing smarter. This new Laviolette system that's more structured, more hands-on, Panarin is benefiting from it the most out of any player on the Rangers. And he has 8 points in 6 games. He's on pace for like 109 points or something. But I think we're going to see a couple. Him, Hedl, Lafreniere, they've looked like the best line, that second line so far this season. Hopefully we'll see another multi-point game Panarin's shooting the puck more, so his goal totals are going to increase. He's always going to get assists like he always does, being on the power play and getting top minutes. Laviolette has said that he's comfortable giving Panarin more minutes because he's not a defensive liability anymore. He's more than just a assist maker. He's going to score goals. He's still going to get those assists, and he's going to play defense. So I'm hoping for at least one. Panarin is on a 6-game point streak for the second year in a row. He's the third Ranger in history to have 2 point streaks of at least 6 games multiple times. The other two are Rod Gilbert and Andy Bathgate, 2 Hall of Famers who've had their numbers retired. I know all of you in here know who they are. But let's hope that point streak continues, and maybe it'll hopefully be another multi-point night. Wayne says he's watching in Florida too. Yeah, it's rough when you don't have just MSG networks down here, but we find our ways to watch. Still get to hear Sam Rosen. Dylan with the hottest take of the night. Igor goal tonight. I don't know if it'll happen tonight, but I think some point soon, maybe this season, maybe next season, I think there's a very high chance we see an Igor goal. We know that he's not scared of taking these shots when there's an empty net. He's done it. He's come very, very close. He almost did it last season. I thought he was going to get it last season, but he missed by just a couple inches. But I think at some point in his career, definitely, Igor might score a goal, which I don't know if any Rangers goalie has ever scored a goal. I've definitely never seen one in my lifetime that I've been watching. But if I were to ever see that, it would be incredible. This is true. Don't let Eric guess how many points Brett is getting. He is a curse. It's not me predicting anything that's a curse. It's my Panarin jersey that's a curse. When I wear that jersey, the Rangers lose, which is why I don't wear it on game days. And when I wear it in my free time just because it's an amazing jersey and I love Panarin. It's just when I wear it, it's never good. This is funny. We need Kane's taxi driver's phone number so we can know some insider info. Yeah, that's one of those controversies surrounding Kane. There's a lot of controversy surrounding Kane, but he's a good hockey player. If you can put up points, he puts up points. Eric, stop with Wheeler. I won't discuss him anymore unless you guys want me to. I'm going to try to fly these comments because I know I'm falling behind. How do they want Kane back if he doesn't mess with the chemistry? Of course, that was the problem last year. We expected him to come in and just click with Panarin again, but it didn't work out. We couldn't really find a place for him to play where the chemistry worked. A big part of it might have been his injury because he was playing through injury the entire time he was with us. But at the end of the day, we have no way to know for certain. Sure, is he healthy now? Will he probably be better if we signed him? Yes, but we won't be able to know unless we take that risk. So that's like the question at hand is, do you risk it on a second chance that he might be better at full health? If it comes at the right price, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Kane return advocate. Our man says, how do you think Cooley has looked? I think he's looked very solid so far. He only has 1 point, that 1 goal. That was his first NHL goal. But at the same time, that's not the type of player he is, and that's not the role that he's playing on that third line. He's playing with Trocheck and Wheeler. They're not the flashy goal scorers. They're get up against the boards, make the physical, gritty plays, which he's done great at. He's been very physical. He's not afraid to lay the body. He's getting in the corners. He's fighting those puck battles, and he's winning them. So, yeah, is he putting up a lot of points? No. But am I impressed with him so far? Yes. And that's why I defend the Rangers' decision to choose him over Brendan Othmann, because there's no room in that top 6 for Othmann. You're not going to want to call him up until there is room because he's a goal scorer. He's going to be a guy in the next few years who's playing on the first or second line, scoring goals left and right. He matches his game similarly to Matthew Tkachuk, very similar player. And that's not what the Rangers needed this season. That's not what they had room for. So, yeah, did people say, oh, why the Rangers pick Cooley when Othmann was right there? That's why. They needed a third line guy who's going to be very physical. Michael Rotolo says, wouldn't mind seeing Brodzinski on that wing in place of Wheeler. I have to agree. Brodzinski is one of those players where when we see him play in moderation, he doesn't impress me with anything too flashy, but he doesn't really do too much for me to be like, oh, why is he on the roster? I do want to hold out hope on Wheeler, though. It's been 6 games, as much as I complain, you got to give him time. We got another Wheeler supporter. I feel a Wheeler goal tonight. I hope so. Roderick says, I'm more interested in how they ultimately play as a team, win or lose. This time of year is shaking off the cobwebs, getting back into the flow, etc. You're absolutely right. At beginning in the season, it is still a very important part of the season because, as close as the Metropolitan is, it's going to come down to just a few games. So you need to win every game possible. But I'm impressed with what we've done so far. Laviolette has come in, implemented this new system, and it kind of seems like almost every player is adjusting very well and reaping the benefits of it. But at the same time, we talk about these players who are exceeding our expectations, like Panarin, and all these players who at the end of the day might be a little disappointing. I won't say his name because you guys are going to come at me in the chat for hating on him too much. But at the end of the day, it's about the team winning more than personal success. Rangers are 4-2 on a 2-game win streak, hoping to make it to 5-2 tonight and increase that win streak to 3. That's really the only thing that matters at the end of the day, But it would be nice to see everyone finding success. Yeah, Roderick puts it best. It's at the start of the holidays that we can start to get nervous or excited. That like around Christmas time, New Year, that's when things really need to heat up. I think the biggest example of that is what year was it? 2018 or 2019, the year that the St. Louis Blues won the Cup. On January 1st of that year, the Blues were 31st out of 31 teams in the NHL, dead last. And after New Year's, all of a sudden, they just turned things around, got better, and won the Cup. So I think it's that point where it's like it's your make or break point. Everything leading up to it, yes, is it still important, but it's at that point where it's do or die type thing. Dylan, that's funny. I'm not going to pull it up, but it's funny. Chino says, the Rangers have to be winning in the final minutes more often for Igor to get his goal. I agree. He's getting one sooner than later for sure. Yeah, I think he will. I think the Rangers have been better recently with that. There have been a couple games this season where they've fallen behind a little early on in the game. But kind of like we saw last game against Calgary, they fell behind by 1, and the game looked really sloppy. I thought in those first 10 minutes, I was like, yep, it's one of those games. Rangers are doomed. But then halfway through that first period, just something switched. Laviolette might have said something. Trouba might have said something. But they looked like a different team. And they kind of came back and just looked a little bit more dominant. Roderick just confirmed what I said earlier. No goalie in Rangers history scored a goal. I want to check how far. I'm not too far behind on these comments. Sorry if you guys comment. It takes me a little bit to get to it. I want to make sure that I'm letting everyone's voices be heard here. Oilers look like they've lost interest in playing and winning. Need to pour it on. Third and fourth lines should be scoring tonight. I haven't been watching the Oilers. Obviously I've been following stats and everything, but I'm a little surprised at their record. They're projected to be good. They've been good the last couple of years, especially with the star power that they have. But, McDavid injured for a couple of weeks now. I don't know what happened over there, but if the Oilers are down, the Rangers do need to capitalize on that. Like you said, pour it on, full team effort. The Rangers could easily make this a very dominant win if they put their all into it, but we'll see what happens. We've seen so far this season, even the games that are supposed to be easy can very quickly turn into Rangers getting blown out. Robert says there's no room for Kane. He should be on the first line. Move Kakko to the third. Cooley can sit. Also taking Trocheck off the power play. There's a lot to break down with this, right? I agree that there's no room for Kane. And if he were to be on the Rangers, I would want him on the first or second line. But at the same time, I don't want to have to move Kakko because, yes, Kakko only has 2 points so far this season, but he hasn't looked bad. It's just bad puck luck. And those points are going to come soon. He looks very strong alongside Kreider and Zibanejad, and I don't want to mess that up this early on. Cooley can sit. I also have to disagree with that. He hasn't put up a lot of points, but that's not his job. Kind of like I talked about before. He's a defensive player. He's physical. He's kind of like Ryan Reeves, or like what Reeves was supposed to be, in my opinion. Trocheck off the power play. I don't really know how I feel about that one. If there's someone, if you're saying that Kane would replace him, then yes, I would agree with that. But I think Trocheck has looked solid, and I don't really have much bad to say about him. If we can get Kane back, I think definitely will be better, but it all depends. Like, I'm not getting Kane to bring down Kakko or Laffy. They're doing good. I don't know if he's needed. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, would Kane be a nice welcomed back addition? I think so. He should be better, but like we have a solid team. We like that would be like if the Rangers went and traded for Andrei Vasilevsky. It's like, yes, would he be a welcomed addition? Yeah, but we don't need him. We have Igor. It's like, that might not be a perfect comparison, but it's kind of like the same thing where Kakko and Lafreniere are doing a very good job. Brian says, I think Draisaitl or McDavid may get an assist tonight. Draisaitl very, very well might. McDavid is out with injury, so we won't have to worry about him tonight. That's for sure. But Draisaitl is a dangerous forward right there, and the Rangers better be watching him every time he's on the ice. Here we go. Francesca says, per Molly Walker, Jonathan Quick leads the Rangers out for pregame warmups versus Edmonton. So I guess it is looking like Jonathan Quick might be the starter tonight, which is interesting, but I don't disagree with it. The Oilers, they're not playing at their best right now. They're without McDavid. Draisaitl is a dangerous weapon, as we just discussed, but this is one of those games where the Rangers should be confident in letting Quick start. He looked dominant in his first start where he got his last win against Seattle, I think. I think it was Seattle that Quick started and got his first win as a Ranger. So I don't disagree with the decision. We'll see how he plays tonight against a team that has a little bit more offensive star power, but I don't hate it. I'm not sure. It's per Molly Walker, so she usually knows what she's talking about, but I don't have anything pulled up right now, so I'll take your guys' word for it. I feel a Trouba train siding tonight. Who's his victim? Evander Kane. I don't like Evander Kane. I think he's a dirty player. So if Trouba were to just lay him out, I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, Trouba has played great so far this season. I know me and Anthony have been very critical of him, especially last year in his first season as captain, but I think he's looked great so far. And I hope to see him flatten someone because it always gets me excited. I still think Wheeler is going to he's going to more than make his $800,000 deal look genius. We gave Sammy Blais like 4 months of zeros. A few weeks with Blake is digestible. That is true. We gave Sammy Blais a lot more slack without him having no points. But at the same time, he played better defensively, which is where I think Wheeler is lacking. The $800,000 thing is why I don't care too much. I sit here and complain, but I'm not like calling out for the Rangers to do anything crazy about it because we knew it's low risk, high reward. If he never turns things around, who cares? It's just $800,000. So I do think that he will turn things around, though. Roger says, since you're in Florida, I have to do an NFL shout out. Fins up. This might blow your guys' mind, but even though I am from New York and now I live in Florida, I am a fan of the New Orleans Saints. It's a long story that I don't feel like explaining right now, but I don't have anything against the Dolphins or the Giants or the Jets or any team. I just have a problem with the Falcons and the Panthers and the Bucks. So I guess I do have a problem with the Florida team. Back to hockey, BVS, first period predictions. So there's two ways it's going to go. The Rangers are going to start really slow, and we're going to exit the first period down by 2. But I don't think that'll happen. I think we've seen it so much so far this season that Laviolette has made it very clear in practice that the Rangers cannot let that happen. So I think the Rangers are going to come flying out the gate. But see, I hate making these predictions because whatever I say I think is going to happen, the opposite always happens. But I'm going to say it anyway. So I'm sorry if I jinx this, but I think the Rangers are going to score an early goal. The Oilers might settle in a little defensively right there. They might even score one, but I do think the Rangers will exit the first up by 1. It might be close, but they might exit up by 1. Roger did confirm, yes, Quick got his first win against Seattle. Hopefully he'll get a second tonight because it does look like he's starting. On crucial faceoffs, need Vinny for faceoffs. Mika is so-so, and you can beat Heedle in faceoffs with my Mike Street hockey stick. We've all had those My Like sticks before, but the Rangers have actually been very good at faceoffs this year. I don't have the exact stat pulled up if anyone wants to pull it up for me, but I know last season the Rangers were like really bad at faceoffs, only like 45%. But I think they're at like 56% this season, which is an incredible improvement. Laviolette's been doing a lot of work there. But I don't know. Faceoffs are very, very important for this Rangers team. Back to football real quick. Roger's a Dolphins fan first and G-Men second. Well, if there's any Giants fans out here in the chat, and you're a big fan of Fireside Rangers, be sure to check out Fireside Giants. Those of you who know Anthony will recognize him over there, as he is the lead host over there on Fireside Giants. Great channel over there as well. Robert says, sure, the kids are getting top minutes. However, we are not winning the cup with both of those two in the top 6. They're just not that good yet. I disagree. Lafreniere has 3 goals in 6 games. I don't want to keep saying on pace because it'd be like he's on pace for 41. It's not going to happen, but both of them are going to break out. They're looking good. They're looking very good. And even though they don't have the point totals to show it, they still look strong, and their line mates do. Panarin is playing with Lafreniere. Panarin's over a point per game. Hedl on that second line is a point per game. Zibanejad very close to a point per game. He might be. Panarin, everyone's looking good. Sorry, not Panarin. Kreider, he's scoring goals, a lot of goals. And I think the Rangers have one of the better top 6s in the league. Yeah, sorry, BV. I spoke about the first period. But, all right, it's 8:41. The Rangers are going to start playing in about 20 minutes. So I think we will start to wrap things up a little sooner rather than later. Arman asks, have you seen NHL Edge, advanced stats, and great breakdowns? I have not. I have heard of it. But I am familiar with some advanced stats. I know the Rangers' first and the third line are like both top 5 in the NHL for projected goals percentage, which is a great stat. I know what it means, but I can't sit here and talk about it so much. But I know advanced stats wise, the Rangers have looked pretty solid. BV says, Robert, never speak about the kids like that again. I'm always with the kids, ride or die. Even if they don't have the point totals to show it, I'm always going to stick by their side. But, all right. We'll start to wrap things up here. I'll give my final predictions for the game and jinx the Rangers. But as I do, leave your score predictions down in the comments below. I'll have them flash across the screen. So my final overall take for the Rangers, I think we are going to see a win. The Oilers don't have the best record. The Rangers do. So we say it's an easy game, especially without McDavid. But I think it's going to be closer than we're expecting. I might say like a 3-2 victory. It's going to be a little close. It's not even Igor anymore. It's Quick. So yeah, maybe 3-2, maybe even 4-3 at that point. But I think the Rangers will win, but it will be close. BV asks as we wrap up, next stream, we're getting the boys back in the live. I hope so. I know Anthony's also been feeling a little under the weather. Collin is currently in Nashville, and Will is very busy this week. So hopefully on Saturday, when the Rangers, I don't even know who would go up against. It might be Winnipeg or Vancouver. I think it's Vancouver. Hopefully, we're going to do a stream no matter what, even if it's me solo, but hopefully we'll get the whole team back together soon. Roderick says, I want revenge against the Oilers with or without their top gun. I haven't had that embarrassment from a few years. Haven't forgot that embarrassment from a few years ago. Yeah, when McDavid scored that highlight reel goal against us, not pretty. Our man says, thank you, Fireside. Of course, if there's one thing I love doing, it's providing great Rangers content, getting to interact with you guys. I love all y'all. You're awesome. BV says 6-2. That's a bold prediction. BV thinks we're going to score a lot of goals and we're going to hold Edmonton to just 2. It'd be big if it happened. I hope it does. Francesca predicts 4-3 in OT. I think that was my prediction for last game. We're like 3-2 in OT. But hey, a win is a win. We get 2 points out of it. That'd make me happy. Robert says the kids will be great, just not today or tomorrow, but when they are in their mid-20s, they'll be ready. They're getting close to it. Edel's 24, I think, or 23. I just know he's the oldest one. They're getting to that point. Eric, after the live, pray, please, let's go Rangers. Of course, let's go Rangers. We'll do everything in our power to not jinx the Rangers. I'm very, oh, why am I blanking on that word? I'm blanking. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when you do a lot of like pregame stuff to ensure your team wins? I don't know why my brain is freezing right now. Saturday night game. Yeah, definitely have a few drinks after a long week. Yeah, it might be one of those weekends after this road trip. Any merch tonight? I might throw on a jersey after this. We'll see. Superstitious. Yes, that's the word. I'm a very superstitious fan. I do not know why I could not think of that word. It's late at night, getting ready to watch the Rangers. I'm just thinking about the game. I'm a little excited. But I guess that about wraps up this stream. We're about 15 minutes away till game time. So I'll let everyone go early. I'll get myself situated, and I'm keeping you guys updated throughout the game. Thank you to everyone who came back to watch the stream. A lot of returning fans, a lot of new fans. Happy to see all y'all here and interact with you guys. But we'll be back tomorrow with maybe a post-game recap or just another discussion video that we can talk about something in particular. Roger says, have a great night, everyone. Thank you. And let's go Rangers. DNK says, thanks for the chat. Of course, my man. BV says, have a good night, Eric. W stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure everyone likes, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a notification. We'll be posting a bunch of highlights on our social media accounts throughout the game. So be sure to check those out at Fireside Rangers on both Twitter and Instagram. So follow those so you don't miss any updates or content they're going to be producing. But we'll be back tomorrow with some more Rangers content. Hopefully the boys will be with me. But even if I'm by myself, you know that I'll be back. But yeah, hopefully we'll pick up that win against Edmonton tonight. Be sure to come back to this video throughout the game. Leave comments about how you're feeling, as well as on our socials. So yeah, thank you to everyone for joining us. Have a good one, and let's go Rangers, and let's beat Edmonton. Peace out, guys.